students, welcome again into the 12th science chemistry class. Now from the last two lecture we are learning the chapter number 3, that is the ionic equilibrium. In that we already learned about the electrolytes and non-electrolytes, how the weak and strong electrolytes can be identified. Again we learn more about the acids and bases. The two theories we completed, that is the Arrhenius theory of acids and bases and Bronsted and Lowry theory of acids and bases. Now this is the third theory. Due to the Lewis theory, most of the organic as well as inorganic substances are considered as the acids and bases, because here is no requirement of the H plus ion or proton to define the acid or the OH minus ion to define the base. Then what is according to Lewis theory? So Lewis theory, according to Lewis theory, acids and bases are defined as follows. Acid is any substance which can share a electron pair. Now any species that accept, here acid accept the electron pair. So any species that accept a share in an electron pair is called the Lewis acid. So the substances which can accept a shared pair of electron are called as the acid. That means they are electron deficient substances. So they accept the electron from the another substances. So any species or any substance which can accept a share in an electron pair is called as the acid. And what is base? Base is any species that donates a share in an electron pair is called as the Lewis base. See here students, here only is the transfer of the electron pair from one substance to another substance. So the substances which can donate the electron pair to the another substances are called as the bases. So any species we can donate a share in an electron pair is called as the base. So in case of these bases, Lewis bases, all the substances which are rich in electron are the Lewis bases. Now see here the example of Lewis acid base. Now this is the H plus ion. We know that as it is the proton, it have the strong attraction towards the electron pair. So this H plus, that is the acid, it acts as the acid. And this is the ammonia NH3, and here is the extra lone pair of electron on this nitrogen of ammonia. So this nitrogen can donate this electron pair to this H plus, that is the proton. And this is the donation of the electron pair is shown by the arrowhead from, that is the donor to the acceptor. Now here, due to the share or due to the donation of this electron pair to this H plus ion, there is formation of NH4 plus ion. Now this positive sign is due to this H plus ion is there, and this electron pair is used for the formation of this, that is the coordinate bond. So in the Lewis acid base reaction, there is formation of coordinate bond between the Lewis acid and Lewis base. That means the neutralization in the Lewis acid base pair is the formation of coordinate bond, and this bond is denoted by the arrow pointing towards from base to acid. Now the another example, here also the two species, out of that one is electron deficient species and it acts as the acid. Now see here, we know that the BF3, boron trifluoride, which have the only, that is the in boron there are only 6 electron pair of the central atom of this boron, and due to that it is always electron deficient molecule. And this is the ammonia which have the lone pair on that nitrogen. So this nitrogen can donate the lone pair to this boron so that the boron can complete its octet. So here boron trifluoride acts as the acid and ammonia this acid-base pair. Or in this way, in Levy's theory, the electron acceptor is the acid and electron donor is the base. Now let us learn more about that of the nature of water. Now in the last lecture I already told you that this water have the amphoteric nature. What is mean by amphoteric? Amphoteric means dual nature. That means water can act as the acid when it comes in contact with such substances which are less acidic than water, such as ammonia or primary, secondary, tertiary amines. And water can act as the base when it comes in contact with the stronger acid than it. In this way, water have dual nature or amphoteric nature. Now, water has the ability to act as an acid as well as base. Such behavior is known as the amphoteric nature or dual nature of that of the water. Now, for example, see here this water and there is the ammonia. We know that the ammonia have the strong attraction toward the H plus ion from that of the water. Due to the lone pair, it accepts the H plus ion. As this water gives the H plus ion to ammonia, there is this water acts as the acid. And as ammonia, it accepts the H plus ion, so it acts as the base according to that of the Lowry and Bronsted theory here. So this water is acid and ammonia is base. And after donation of H plus ion, this water forms this OH minus. That is this is the base one. Suppose this is the acid one, this is the base one. And after accepting the proton, this ammonia is transferred into the NH4 plus ion, which can act as the acid again. So this is the base, that is the 2 and that is the acid 2. In this way, there is the formation of conjugate acid-base pair due to the reaction between the water and ammonia. And in this case, water as it donates the H plus ion, it acts as the acid. Now see the another example. Here is also water, but the reaction is with the hydrochloric acid, which is more stronger acid than that of the water. So as it is acid, so it gives the H plus ion now to this water. Water have the 2 lone pairs on that of the oxygen atom. So water accepts the H plus ion from this HCl and water acts as the base here and HCl acts as the acid. After acceptance of the H plus from that as the HCl, this water is transferred into the H3O plus ion, that is the hydronium ion. And after donation of the H plus ion from this HCl, the HCl is converted to the Cl minus. Now there is also formation of new acid base pair. Now it acts as the acid, it acts as the base because chloride have the attraction toward the H plus ion, so it acts as the base. In this way, here also conjugate acid base pair is formed. And as this water acts as the acid as well as base, so water have the amphoteric nature. So there is the give region in the examination. They may be asked, explain the amphoteric nature of water. Then you must explain by giving these 2 examples. Now let us learn the next topic, that is the Ostwald dilution law. Now pay attention students on the blackboard. Before learning the Ostwald dilution law, let us learn about the ionization of acids and bases. We are very well familiar with that of the strong and weak electrolyte. On the same basis, the acid and bases are classified as strong acids and strong bases and weak acids and weak bases on the basis of their extent of dissociation. That means in how, that is the part of that acid or bases dissociate. That means some of the acids dissociate completely, almost completely, so they are the strong acids, and some of the acids dissociate only partially and they are the weak acid. Similar for that of the strong base and weak base also. So strong acids and bases are almost completely dissociated. For example, the hydrochloric acid, which is the very strong acid. So it dissociated H plus aqueous plus Cl minus aqueous, and the strong base, that is the sodium hydroxide, it also almost completely dissociate as Na plus aqueous plus OH minus aqueous. So typical strong acids are hydrochloric acid, that is the nitric acid HNO3, sulfuric acid H2SO4, as well as the hydrobromic acid and hydroiodic acid. Now all these are the 5 strong acids are there, that is the HCl, HNO3, H2SO4, HBr and HR. While the typical strong bases are NaOH and KOH, that is the sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. Now they almost ionize into the aqueous solution. So they are strong bases. Now weak acids and weak bases are partially dissociated in water. The solutions of weak acid and weak base contain the undissociated molecules along with the dissociated ions. So the weak acid and weak bases contain undissociated molecule along with the small number of ions at equilibrium. So we show the reactions, dissociation reactions of weak acid and weak bases by showing a double-headed arrow between the reactants and products. So this acetic acid ionizes as in the aqueous solution CH3CO minus plus H plus. But it is the weak acid, that is the organic acid, acetic acid. Now another, that is the base, ammonium hydroxide. It also dissociates in a smaller extent as the NH4 plus ion, that is the amino ion, and that of the OH minus ion. So that is the formic acid, or any, that is we know in the 11th standard, formic acid, acetic acid, propionic acid, butanoic acid. All these are the organic acid and they are the weak acid. So formic acid, again the HF, hydrofluoric acid, H2S, hydrogen sulfide acid are the weak acid, and the weak bases are APOH twice, iron hydroxide, copper hydroxide, aluminum hydroxide, calcium hydroxide. All these are the weak bases. Now let us learn the Ostwald dilution law. Now again page students, attention on the blackboard. Now we are learning the Ostwald dilution law. The statement of the Ostwald dilution law we learn after this, that is the derivation. In short, I can explain the Ostwald dilution law. The Ostwald dilution law is that the degree of dissociation of the weak acid or weak base or weak electrolyte is directly proportional to that of the volume of that square root of volume and inversely proportional to the square root of the concentration of that weak acid or weak base. Now first learn about the weak acid dissociation. Consider an equilibrium of weak acid HA that exists in solution partly as the undissociated species, namely that is the HA, and partly H plus and A minus. Now consider a general acid HA. It is the general acid. It may be any organic acid or it may be HF or H2S etc. Now this A is the anion, that is the negative ion, H is the proton, H plus ion. So this HA, when dissociated into the aqueous solution, it partly dissociated as, that is the H plus ion and A minus ion, and there is some undissociated molecules of HA also present. So consider an equilibrium of weak acid HA that exists in solution partly as the undissociated species, that is the HA, and partly H plus and A minus ions. Now in this way, this weak acid get dissociated. There is the double-headed arrow between the reactant and product due to the weak acid HA. Now then the acid dissociation constant is given by, we know the law of mass action. The law of mass action is nothing but the constant of the concentration of the multiplication of product divided by multiplication of reactant concentration. So by applying the law of mass action in the 11th standard, we learned that the dissociation constant of acid Ka. Now this A is stand for acid. This Ka is given as H plus ion concentration into A minus ion concentration divided by this Ha concentration. Now this is according to the law of mass action. This K is the dissociation constant of the acid. Now suppose only 1 mole of acid Ha is taken initially. So initially we take only the 1 mole of the weak acid Ha. Only we take initially 1 mole of weak acid Ha present in the volume V decimeter cube of the solution. Suppose the volume of the solution is capital V decimeter cube and 1 mole of the acid is present in V decimeter cube of the solution. So at equilibrium the fraction dissociated would be degree of dissociation, and that fraction is alpha. Alpha is the degree of dissociation, where alpha is the degree of dissociation of acid, because at equilibrium out of that 1 mole only alpha get dissociated as it is the weak acid. So here then the fraction of an acid that remains undissociated would be, how we calculate that? From the 1 mole only alpha get dissociated. So how many molecules remains undissociated? 1 minus alpha. So the fraction of acid that remains undissociated will be 1 minus alpha. Now we can write this in this way. This Ha, that is the weak acid, it ionizes as or dissociated as H plus aqueous plus A minus aqueous. Now the amount present at equilibrium per mole. After dissociation there is one stage comes, that is the equilibrium state, and that equilibrium state, how many amount of the these Ha, H plus and A minus remains, that amount present at equilibrium per mole. Now this Ha remains is 1 minus alpha, because alpha get dissociated, so the out of 1 mole only 1 minus alpha is remains of that of the Ha, and the dissociated ions are alpha alpha, because if one total Ha get dissociated, there is the one ion of H plus and one ion of A minus. As here only alpha get dissociated, so there is only the alpha of the H plus ion and alpha, that is the degree of dissociation of A minus. Now this is the concentration, that is the amount per mole at equilibrium. Now let us learn the concentration at equilibrium, that is given in moles per decimeter cube. We know that. Now what is concentration? Concentration is nothing but number of moles divided by volume. As here is the volume is V decimeter cube. So at equilibrium, what is the concentration of these three species? This Ha, now the concentration 1 minus alpha divided by V. This H plus ion, now the concentration alpha divided by V, and A minus ion also have the concentration alpha divided by V. Now let us calculate, that is this dissociation constant on substituting all the values of these three species concentration. Now students, pay attention to the blackboard again. Now if we substitute the values of equilibrium concentrations of Ha, H plus and A minus in the equation of this dissociation constant K, then we obtain, by substituting the values of the equilibrium concentration in the equation K, we obtain K as, now here is the H plus. So what is the equilibrium concentration of H plus? Alpha divided by V. Then what is the equilibrium concentration of A minus? It is also alpha divided by V. What is the equilibrium concentration of Ha? It is 1 minus alpha divided by V. Now this volume V get cancelled. What is remaining? Alpha into alpha, alpha square. Now this 1 minus alpha and 1 V as it is to the denominator side. Now if C is the initial concentration of the acid in moles per decimeter cube, and if V is the volume in decimeter per mole, then what is, we know that the reciprocal of that of the volume is equal to concentration, because C is equal to 1 upon V. V concentration is equal to 1 divided by V. Then substitute the value of this 1 divided by V in this equation as the C. We obtain as K is equal to this alpha square. Now this 1 divided by V becomes this C and 1 minus alpha. Now for weak acid, HA alpha is very small because HA is the weak acid, so the degree of dissociation is very small, that is negligible. So 1 minus alpha is nearly equal to 1 because alpha is very small, such as 0.00001, which is negligible. So 1 minus alpha is nearly equal to 1. Then what happens if we substitute as 1 minus alpha is equal to 1 in this equation? We obtain the equation such as see here. Now this K is equal to, we know that in this equation, that is of the volume, if we substitute the alpha as that is 1 minus alpha, that is equal to 1, then equal to 1, then what this equation becomes? Alpha square divided by V only. So here K is equal to alpha square divided by V. But 1 divided by V is equal to C. So or K is equal to alpha square into C, because here the 1 minus alpha is 1. So K is equal to alpha square into C. That is the very short equation of dissociation constant of the weak acid we obtain. Now if we want to calculate the alpha, then how we can calculate? The alpha square is equal to K into V. Alpha square is equal to Ka into V here. So alpha square is equal to K into V. Or we can also calculate as this alpha square is equal to, now this C which is multiplied get here divided. So alpha square is equal to Ka divided by C. We can write in this way also. Now we want only the alpha. So on taking the square root to both sides, the alpha is equal to, alpha square becomes alpha after taking the square root. So alpha is equal to under root of K into V. Similarly, here alpha is equal to under root of K divided by C. What this equation shows? Here we see that this alpha is directly proportional to the square root of this volume, because this is K is constant. If we that is we take this K to the outer side, suppose it is K dash, so alpha is equal to Ka dash, or alpha is directly proportional to K dash under root of V. It becomes as well as or it becomes alpha is inversely proportional to Ka dash into, that is the under root of 1 divided by C. So what these two equations shows? These two equations shows that the degree of dissociation alpha is directly proportional to the square root of volume, and degree of dissociation alpha is inversely proportional to the square root of concentration, and that is the Ostwald dilution law. So what is the statement of Ostwald dilution law? The statement of Ostwald dilution law is that the degree of dissociation alpha of the weak acid is inversely proportional to the square root of its concentration C. Here we are seeing the alpha is inversely proportional to the square root of the concentration, that is the C, and or it is directly proportional to the square root of volume. Here we are seeing alpha is directly proportional to the square root of volume V of the solution containing 1 mole of the weak acid. Now this is about the Ostwald dilution law of that weak acid. Similarly, we can write the Ostwald dilution law for weak base also, but we learn that into the next lecture today. Now if you understand the Ostwald dilution law, the statement of Ostwald dilution law, how there is the degree of dissociation is directly proportional to the square root of volume and inversely proportional to the square root of concentration of that weak acid, and also we learn about the weak and strong acids and bases, their dissociation. Again we learn the dissociation constant of weak acid. So student, if you understand this video to the other student so that they also have the benefit to understand the Ostwald dilation law about the weak acid. So in the next lecture we learn the Ostwald dilation law about that of the weak base and weak electrolytes. So thank you for watching this video.